First thing, Senator, you might take a look. This is the conference committee report from yesterday of what we did on the microbrewery beer bill. Let's get that right. So anyway, today I've called this conference on 2532, and with that, I would make a motion to remove the contents of 2532 and insert this amendment. Mike, do you have the amendment? Yeah. Mike, will you give us a brief overview of what this amendment does?
This amendment would amend a section of the pari-mutuel racing statute 748823, and it would add a new provision dealing with where the tax on historical horse racing, which is 3%. This would provide on page 3 of your handout there, upon receipt of each remittance made pursuant to A5, the state treasurer shall deposit the entire amount and credit 1/3 to the horse breeding development fund and 2/3 to the horse fair racing benefit fund. This provision was in a Senate bill that passed last year, and it was a Senate substitute for House Bill 2058. In conference, all this was, the whole thing dealing with pari-mutuel was stricken, and it became a gaming compact provision.
And if you remember, committee, last year, we had to have a clean compact bill, just much like we just did here. And so this was attached to that, so we just stripped that out in committee, and this is just replacing what was stripped out in committee. It was. It was. So, committee questions?
Do we know what the estimated revenue is?
I do not. Jordan, do you have any idea? While he's looking at it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jordan Milholland, Legislative Research. If you wouldn't mind, give me just a minute here. I'll see what I can find as far as a fiscal note. If that bill was other language, you know, as far as a Senate bill or something that was then became that House substitute, or the substitute for House Bill 2058, I should be able to locate a fiscal note for that. But if that was new language, then I'm not sure that bill to locate any of that.
All right. Committee, further questions? Representative Hoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just want to clarify, this would take all of the tax revenue that is currently going to the state racing fund, and then it's split between, well, not evenly, but it's split between Kansas Horse Breeding Development Fund, Horse Fair Racing Benefit Fund. And I just want to make sure, once we find out what that revenue is, I think that'll help, because in the state racing fund, it does say any appropriation or transfer of state general fund monies for the operation or commission or the office of the executive director, any expenses incurred with a connection with the administration enforcement of the act, that they have to pay back the state general fund with interest. So I just do want to make sure there's enough, that we have enough in there for the operation of of all of this.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of clarification. The new language that is proposed is only applicable to the monies from the historic horse race machines. And so there is the monies that are remitted under paragraphs 1 through 4 of A would still go to the state racing fund. It would just be the monies from the historical horse race machines that would be distributed to these other two funds.
So that should not impact operations.
I don't believe so.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Anything else, Mike? We good? Oh, yeah, we need to sign the conference committee report from yesterday. Would like, Jordan has that revenue now real quick. Jordan has that revenue real quick. So.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were just taking a minute to locate the bills, track those down from last year. It looks like Senate Bill 293 last year would have been a bill about historical horse race machines with a rate of 3% on parimutuel tax. It looks like the estimate from the Racing and Gaming Commission said it had the potential to increase costs for regulation of a fair association, a nonprofit horsemen's organization, and disbursement of the tax receipts to the Horse Breeding Development Fund and Fair Racing Benefit Fund. They had some information about what those funds are used for. It says just to provide that context, I guess, while I'm already here, the Horse Breeding Development Funds used to provide purse supplements, stakes, and awards for Kansas-bred horses, and research grants to Regents institutions for equine research. And then the Fair Racing Benefit Fund is used for fair associated costs, including the commission's regulatory costs, board expenses, background investigations for the Fair Association or a nonprofit organization's members, purse supplements, operating assistance grants, employment of key race officials, and capital improvement to racetrack facilities. At that time, the commission assumed that existing staff would be able to accommodate regulation of the Fair Association. No additional staff would be needed. I'm not seeing any estimates directly of the amounts that would be going to that in this fiscal note, but does contain some background information on at least what those fair funds were and the breeding development fund. And I'd be happy to send that to members if they'd like to have that background information.
That would be great. Yeah. Further questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.